the Vibrational Sage, Opening Passage. There is a quiet instant when wisdom touches the heart before it even reaches the mind. In that subtle pause, the archetype of the sage begins to emerge, an ancient presence, calm yet alert, observing the flow of life and understanding that every form of knowledge is born from an ongoing dialogue between what can be seen and what remains unseen. Today, we will cross that bridge together, stepping into the meeting point where metaphysics blends with quantum mechanics and modern physics to explore how vibration shapes the fabric of reality and awakens the highest potential within us. Before we go further, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to the channel Dazzle of Dawn. When you take this simple action, something happens beyond any algorithm. A deliberate gesture sets a resonance in motion, allowing content that elevates awareness to circulate more widely. Your choice nourishes a quantum field of growth, expanding not only your own horizon, but also the reach of this wave of positive transformation that can touch lives you may never meet, yet whose paths are connected to yours through the subtle networks of energy. Within symbolic tradition, the sage is the one who carries an inner lantern, capable of illuminating pathways even through dense fog or turbulent waters. They are not satisfied with prepackaged answers. They prefer to dwell inside questions, to patiently observe the essence behind every phenomenon. When we look through this lens, quantum physics stops being merely a set of equations or experimental data. It becomes a living language, translating the intimate dialogue between energy and consciousness, offering clues to the hidden choreography that holds the universe together and keeps it humming with possibility. In my own journey, I have learned that genuine wisdom is rarely born solely from reading books or memorizing theories. It springs from the ability to listen to the silent vibration that surrounds our experiences. There was a moment when, faced with a challenging decision, I paused long enough to sense the pulse of the room, as if the field around me could speak. That pause revealed that knowledge and vibrational sensitivity walk side by side. And it is in their meeting place that we discover choices aligned with our deepest purpose, choices that resonate beyond circumstance. We can picture the sage as a gardener of frequencies, tending to delicate seeds that, once given patient attention and clarity, blossom into insight and meaningful action. Just as a gardener studies the weather and the soil before planting, we too can calibrate our vibration before answering life's invitations or difficulties. This simple yet profound practice prepares the ground for the quantum physics of our gestures, tiny collapses of possibility, so they can materialize into realities more harmonious and life-affirming. As we close this opening and step toward the heart of our journey, I invite you to allow yourself to feel what each sentence stirs inside you, rather than merely understanding it with the intellect. We are beginning a crossing that honors the heritage of those who have sought wisdom throughout the ages, while also engaging in conversation with modern discoveries about energy, information fields, and the nature of consciousness. Take a deep breath. Let the silence between these words become part of the lesson. And together, let us enter the vibrational universe of the sage. The sage's call. inner silence and the art of listening to vibration. Inside, every one of us lives a quiet voice that whispers answers long before the mind has finished forming its questions. It is the call of the sage, inviting us to gather our scattered attention and rest at the still center of our being. When we cultivate that inner refuge, we step into a point where metaphysics and quantum physics naturally converge, revealing that all matter vibrates with subtle messages, waiting only for us to develop the sensitivity to truly hear them. Vibrational wisdom is born from this refined listening. Just as a skilled musician detects tones almost imperceptible to the casual ear, the sage learns to sense frequencies woven into the fabric of daily life. A passing conversation, a single glance, an intuition rising without words, everything carries patterns of information capable of guiding us toward more aligned choices. Observing without haste, welcoming signs, and translating impressions into clarity becomes a practice that strengthens the bridge between intuition and well-grounded knowledge. I recall a particular morning when, before agreeing to an important project, I sat quietly under the warmth of the sun, breathing deeply for several minutes. My mind pushed to decide quickly, eager to settle the matter, while my body quietly suggested patience. In that stillness, a soft awareness surfaced. Excitement was present, yet there was also a faint disharmony in the proposal. Trusting that subtle cue, I adjusted the agreement. Later, I realized that this minor shift spared me from far greater challenges. That is how the sage acts, reading the field before making a single move. You can practice this as well. When faced with a decision, pause long enough to breathe slowly and consciously. Close your eyes, sense your body, and listen for what remains unspoken. Ask yourself, what is the vibration of this choice? Perhaps you will notice a gentle expansiveness, or maybe a quiet tension. That feedback is a silent dialogue with the quantum field surrounding you, offering data that enriches rational analysis and helps align your steps with a deeper intelligence. Quantum mechanics teaches us that observation influences the outcome of an experiment. This discovery echoes profoundly in human experience. The quality of attention we give to an event shapes its unfolding. When we integrate this understanding, we realize that attentive presence is itself a creative force. The sage recognizes this power and employs it with care, cultivating realities that resonate with an inner vision of coherence and meaning. Allow this block to serve as an invitation to slow down and open yourself to conversation with vibration. It is not about abandoning logical thought, but about balancing it with a broader sense of perception, one that can catch nuances invisible to the eyes alone. At this level, wisdom stops being merely an accumulation of facts. It becomes a living state of consciousness, a luminous field quietly guiding every gesture, word, and intention. Wisdom in action, collapsing possibilities in the quantum field. A true sage does not remain solely in the realm of ideas. They turn perception into deliberate action. Every step taken from a place of clarity resonates through the quantum field, subtly reorganizing probabilities and inviting fresh circumstances into being. It is much like casting a single stone into calm water. the ripples travel outward, touching shores we often never imagined reaching. This is the silent dance between intention, vibration, and the realities that gradually take form. Seen through the lens of quantum physics, the universe is not a fixed stage waiting passively for events to occur. It is an ever-renewing field of possibilities. The observer, you, me, any conscious being, plays an active role in the emergence of outcomes. Vibrational wisdom lies in recognizing this role and taking responsibility for what we radiate. Our thoughts, emotions, and attitudes are subtle codes, shaping how matter organizes itself to respond to us, arranging pathways in ways logic alone cannot fully explain. I once guided a group through an exercise on creative decision-making that illustrated this principle beautifully. I asked everyone to write, as clearly as possible yet without rigidity, the result they most wish to see. Then I invited them to pause, breathe deeply, and cultivate a sense of gratitude as if their goal had already been fulfilled. The final step was to release the paper, letting it go with trust in the flow of events. Weeks later, many reported unexpected solutions, helpful contacts, and renewed clarity arriving almost effortlessly. The sage understands that observing and intending, when grounded in a calm vibration, opens doors that remain invisible to a hurried mind. You can explore this yourself in daily life. Before starting a project or approaching a meaningful challenge, close your eyes and gently picture the most harmonious outcome you can imagine. There's no need to force every detail. Simply feel the essence of flow, abundance, and contribution. Breathe that image into your body until it becomes steady and familiar. Then move forward with tangible steps, holding the same frequency as you act. This equilibrium between inspiration and movement is fertile soil, where metaphysics meets method, where clarity anchors momentum. Metaphysical traditions often describe creation as beginning with a seed planted in an unseen field. Quantum mechanics echoes this insight, teaching that particles remain in superposition, existing as multiple potentials, until an observation collapses them into one state. When we weave these teachings together, we see that our everyday gestures are chances to collapse realities, choosing which seeds will flourish under the light of our attention. The sage does not shy away from this power. They wield it with ethical care, a light touch, and an expanded sense of responsibility. Let this perspective nourish your courage. You do not need to control every variable or push outcomes with anxious force. What matters most is cultivating the quality of vibration that underlies your choices. Wisdom is understanding that the universe responds more readily to inner coherence than to restless striving. When we walk with clarity and serenity, even challenges become instructors, revealing pathways once concealed. In this way, you learn to stand as a lucid co-author in the great unfolding of existence. The inner laboratory, observation, awareness, and vibrational alchemy. The sage knows that before reshaping the outer world, one must first undertake a quiet refinement within. They view the self as a living laboratory where emotions, thoughts, and intentions become raw material for an unspoken alchemical process. Every mindful breath becomes an opening to examine vibrational states and understand how they sculpt our interactions with life. This intimate research is not an escape from reality, but a path of precision. To truly know oneself is the key to moving with clarity through the quantum fabric of existence. Quantum physics teaches that the act of observation alters the behavior of particles. That scientific truth echoes inside us. Wherever we place our attention, we direct energy. If we approach our inner experiences with harsh judgment, we create rigidity and resistance. If we meet them with curiosity, space for reorganization naturally appears. The sage applies this principle, treating every emotion as data to be read rather than an identity to cling to. In this way, the observer becomes a conscious agent, guiding transformation instead of being swept away by it. I remember a season in which feelings of impatience arose with unsettling frequency. Instead of pushing them aside, I chose to investigate. Sitting quietly, eyes closed, I asked, "What is this vibration trying to reveal?" Gradually, I understood it was an invitation to slow my pace, to adjust timelines, to lean more fully into trust. That simple shift in perspective dissolved tension and revealed fresh approaches to my work. Vibrational alchemy begins the moment awareness illuminates territories once left in shadow, turning discomfort into a messenger of balance. You can bring this approach into your own day. When dense emotions arise, pause for a few minutes and breathe deeply, letting your awareness settle. Watch what you feel without rushing to fix or categorize it. Give the sensation a gentle name: fear, grief, expectation, and allow it to tell its story. Often the very act of presence is enough to let energy reorganize itself into something lighter, more coherent. The sage engages in this subtle listening to access hidden layers of information, guiding decisions with clarity born from stillness. Metaphysically, emotions are frequencies carrying insights about how aligned our choices are with our deeper purpose. Recognizing this frees us from seeing them as obstacles and lets us treat them as meaningful signals. Quantum mechanics offers a parallel. Chaotic systems can reveal elegant patterns when observed with patience and precision. In the same way, our inner states display hidden orders when we give them room to speak. This understanding strengthens the bridge between technical knowledge and experiential wisdom, uniting intellect and heart. By adopting this investigative posture, you become a partner with the universe in reorganizing your own energetic field. It is not about suppressing what you feel, but about decoding vibrational messages and choosing responses that align with what you truly wish to manifest. Practiced with steady commitment, this inner alchemy prepares rich soil for conscious expansion, allowing your presence to grow into more than a reflection of external conditions. It becomes an active center of harmony, radiating clarity into the world around you. Invisible maps, intuition, information fields, and practical wisdom. A sage does not confine themselves to the contemplation of abstract theories. They learn to decipher the invisible maps that quietly guide human experience. These maps are composed of information fields, subtle impressions, and delicate signals that, when noticed with patient attention, reveal more harmonious paths. Metaphysics describes this as reading the finer layers of reality, while quantum physics speaks of fields linking particles across distance. Both point toward the same underlying fabric. Everything is woven together in a vast, interconnected whole. Intuition, far from being a mysterious gift reserved for a select few, is a capacity that flourishes wherever inner silence meets clear intention. It is like a finely tuned antenna, capable of receiving messages that slip beyond the static of everyday noise. The sage develops this faculty by calibrating body and mind, allowing subtle perceptions to mingle with rational data. In this way, choices cease to be the product of logic alone and begin to arise from a broader dialogue with life, one that engages both intellect and a deeper knowing. I remember a moment when I had to choose between two professional opportunities. I analyzed pros and cons carefully, yet uncertainty remained. So I walked through a nearby park, breathing deeply, and asked quietly which path resonated most with my purpose. A calm, unexpected ease filled me as I considered one option, while the other felt heavy, slightly out of tune. Trusting that sensation led me to a project that expanded my creativity and brought valuable connections I could not have planned in advance. You too can cultivate this perception. When facing an important decision, write each option on a sheet of paper. Read them slowly, one by one, and observe how your body responds. Do you sense lightness, enthusiasm, or perhaps a subtle weight? These impressions are not magical predictions but indicators of your energetic field in conversation with the quantum potential of your surroundings. With consistent practice, you learn to discern authentic signals from passing impulses, creating clarity for decisions that resonate more deeply with your values. From a metaphysical perspective, the universe acts as a mirror, reflecting back the quality of our vibration. Quantum mechanics suggests that systems which seem separate can remain correlated through hidden fields, hinting at a web of communication beneath the visible. This awareness reminds us that we are participants in a living network, where our thoughts and feelings contribute to wider patterns. The sage honors this truth, using discernment to select actions that generate constructive ripples, sustaining harmony even in environments that seem chaotic or resistant. To nurture this skill is not to abandon planning or discipline. On the contrary, it is about weaving them together with the subtlety of inner listening. When refined intuition, technical knowledge, and mindful presence come into alignment, our actions gain a specific weight, becoming seeds capable of positively influencing both personal and collective contexts. This is the sage's art, the delicate balance between the unseen and the tangible, where every gesture carries its own unique vibrational signature, shaping reality with quiet precision. The art of coherence, vibrational harmony, and conscious choices. Wisdom does not settle merely in intellectual understanding. It ripens in the coherence between what we think, what we feel, and what we bring into action. A sage knows that vibrational harmony arises when our intentions align with what we express in the world. This integration creates a subtle field of strength, one capable of sustaining choices with both steadiness and lightness. When our actions contradict our values, the signal becomes fragmented. But when we stand rooted in our center, life seems to collaborate, supporting steps that honor our truth. Quantum physics describes coherence as the condition in which systems oscillate in an ordered fashion, producing stability and clarity. Metaphysically, the same principle emerges when mind and heart move in the same rhythm, speaking with one voice. The sage nurtures this internal order before acting, aware that each gesture sends a signal through the invisible fabric of reality. It is not about flawless perfection, but about conscious regard for the vibrational impact carried by every decision we make. There was a time when I accepted commitments far beyond my capacity, believing that constant productivity equaled worth. The outcome was exhaustion and a creative flow that felt blocked at its source. Only when I paused to examine my motives and realign priorities did I realize that saying no was not selfishness, but an act of coherence. As soon as I stopped vibrating in the frequency of excess and began choosing tasks that resonated with purpose, the right doors opened with a natural, almost effortless grace. You can practice this art by observing your daily schedule. Before filling each space with new obligations, take a slow breath and ask yourself, does this activity reflect my central intention? If you feel a persistent unease, it may be an invitation to adjust direction. Making small, thoughtful corrections keeps your energetic field attuned, preventing the static that drains vitality. Vibrational coherence does not remove life's challenges, yet it strengthens your ability to meet them with clarity, steadiness, and a calm awareness of your own center. In quantum mechanics, coherent states resist chaotic collapse. They preserve information longer, holding a thread of order even amid uncertainty. Similarly, when we maintain harmony among mind, emotion, and action, we create inner stability that supports consistent results. The sage recognizes this and uses balance as a quiet influence on their surroundings, becoming a reference point of calm even in turbulent circumstances. Such steadiness inspires trust and lends assurance to those nearby, encouraging harmony beyond the self. Ultimately, coherence is not a distant destination, but a living practice. It grows from daily care over thoughts, words, and gestures. When you begin to see yourself as part of a sensitive field, you realize that each personal vibration contributes to a larger symphony. Choosing to resonate with harmony is offering the world a silent yet powerful gift, capable of reshaping atmospheres and sustaining transformations that endure. The expanded vision, quantum perspective, and the sage's generosity. A sage learns to see beyond what is immediate, understanding that every event belongs to a broader network of meaning. They refrain from rushing to judgment, aware that life operates on subtler scales than the ordinary gaze can register. In quantum physics, we speak of the interconnectedness of systems. Particles separated by great distances remain bound by an invisible thread. Metaphysically, this reminds us that our gestures send ripples through dimensions we cannot always measure. Yet they leave traces in the vast tapestry of existence. But this widened vision reshapes the way we relate to people and circumstances. When we recognize that all things are interwoven, we become more patient, more generous. The sage offers a calm presence to those caught in conflict, not because they dismiss pain, but because they perceive that a serene field can help reorganize chaos. Their gaze carries quiet assurance, suggesting that a larger space exists where solutions can arise, where turbulence can settle into clarity without force. I recall a moment when someone came to me overwhelmed by frustration. Instead of rushing to fix their problem, I chose to listen, allowing a respectful silence to hold the room. Gradually, I sensed the person's vibration begin to soften. New insights appeared on their own, uncoaxed. That experience confirmed what the sage already intuits. Often, the most valuable assistance is not an immediate solution, but the creation of a vibrational environment where hope and understanding can bloom naturally. You can bring this principle into your own conversations. When you notice tension beginning to surface, pause before you speak. Take a breath and imagine expanding a field of warmth and welcome around you. Words offered from this state carry a different frequency. They inform, yes, but they also steady and encourage. Such a simple practice can subtly transform family gatherings, professional teams, and even fleeting interactions in daily life, infusing them with reassurance and balance. From a quantum point of view, coherent fields influence nearby particles, fostering organization and order. On the human level, consistent emotional states create atmospheres that nurture creativity and trust. The sage understands that they cannot control every outcome, but they can provide the conditions in which healthy solutions become more likely. Their generosity lies in remaining available, without imposing, allowing the natural flow of events to bring forth balanced responses. Adopting this perspective requires steady practice as well as humility, an acceptance that not everything can be predicted, but everything can be met with wisdom. When we remember that we are part of a living universe, we learn to sustain broader horizons where challenges lose some of their rigidity and opportunities emerge with ease. In this way, the sage's path becomes a quiet offering of stability and compassion, a silent gift extended to the world. Embodied wisdom, presence, service, and collective transformation. The sage's path does not end with personal understanding. It blossoms when knowledge is translated into living presence. True wisdom is embodied in everyday gestures, in quiet acts of care, in words that encourage, and in the choice to remain clear even when the atmosphere urges haste. It is here that vibration and quantum physics meet. For every coherent attitude subtly reorganizes the fields around us, sending waves that ripple far beyond our immediate reach, shaping spaces we may never directly witness. Metaphysically, serving others is not about self-sacrifice, but about sharing elevated states of consciousness. Quantum physics reminds us that connected systems can attune to one another, naturally seeking balance. When we offer genuine attention, a calm smile, or a clear piece of guidance, we act as catalysts of harmony. The sage understands that their presence, often more than their words, can invite others to rediscover their own center, encouraging a quiet return to stability and purpose. I once worked with a group facing a stubborn creative impasse. Meetings felt heavy, ideas seemed blocked, and frustration was rising. Instead of forcing solutions, I suggested a brief collective pause. We sat together, breathing in silence for a few moments. Almost instantly, the atmosphere shifted, clarity emerged, and new possibilities flowed with ease. That experience affirmed a timeless principle. The vibration of a shared space can be recalibrated by just a few mindful minutes of collective awareness. You can practice this in your home, workplace, or any setting where tension lingers. When you sense the air becoming dense, invite others to pause, even subtly. A simple request to take a deep breath, to align intentions, or to rest the mind for a heartbeat can disperse built-up stress. Small rituals of shared presence work like quantum fields of reorganization, restoring clarity and creativity to their natural flow and reminding everyone of their innate ability to reset. In vibrational wisdom, we come to see that every individual is a point of resonance within the collective fabric. Our thoughts, emotions, and actions send delicate messages that help set the tone of a group, a community, or even an entire society. The sage commits to refining their own frequency so they can radiate steadiness, hope, and purpose, even when their influence remains invisible to the casual observer. This commitment turns ordinary presence into a silent anchor of reassurance. Such a calling does not demand perfection, but steadiness. It is the daily choice to stay connected to an inner axis, recognizing that collective well-being begins with ordered inner states. When you inhabit the world in this way, you become a living reminder that other ways of being are possible. Wisdom ceases to be a concept locked in thought. It becomes a vibrant force, a living transformation that emanates balance, stability, and quiet renewal wherever you are. Inner integration, unifying emotion, knowledge, and vibration. There comes a moment on the sage's journey when they recognize that emotion, thought, and energy are not separate realms, but layers of one living reality. Every feeling carries data about our alignment. Every thought holds the potential to steer frequencies. Every vibrational state responds to how we choose to sense and interpret the world. To unify these aspects is to learn how to live with integrity, allowing awareness to act as a beacon, illuminating choices, responses, and the paths that open before us. Quantum physics shows us that particles and fields continually influence one another, revealing a universe where separation is only an appearance. Metaphysics widens this understanding, reminding us that all things are expressions of a single creative principle. The sage integrates these perspectives to act with balance. They know when to analyze, when to feel, and when to simply breathe and observe. This harmony enables them to meet challenges without losing center, and to celebrate victories without clinging to them, holding both with steady grace. I recall a period when I needed to reconcile demanding projects with intense emotional currents. Whenever I allowed anxiety to take the lead, my decisions grew clouded and fragmented. But when I devoted just a few minutes each day to conscious breathing, clarity returned. I was able to organize tasks while staying sensitive to the needs of those around me. That modest practice wove together reasoning, empathy, and vibrational stability, granting me a clearer lens through which to act wisely. You can experiment with something similar in your own life. When you feel overwhelmed, pause for a moment. Watch your thoughts, acknowledge your emotions, and notice how your body responds. Then gently ask yourself, what vibrational tone do I want to sustain right now? By consciously choosing a state, serenity, gratitude, courage, you tune your internal field and subtly influence your environment, creating the conditions for solutions to surface with greater ease and coherence. Vibrational wisdom does not suggest denying emotions or controlling outcomes at all costs. Instead, it invites us to integrate every layer of our being into an honest dialogue. Just as scientists align their instruments for precise measurements, we too can align mind, emotion, and body to receive clearer insights. The sage learns that knowledge without feeling becomes sterile, while emotion without clarity turns chaotic. Only in their union does a mature, steady presence come alive. When we reach this level of integration, learning stops being an accumulation of theories. It becomes an ongoing state of openness. Each meeting, each silence, each step becomes a living lesson about the entanglement of consciousness and reality. This understanding lays the groundwork for the final stage of the journey, a wholehearted invitation to continual expansion, taken with joy and trust, free from fear of what lies beyond the familiar. Synthesis and invitation, the sage's ongoing journey. We arrive at the point where all the threads of this journey weave together, forming a broader tapestry of understanding. The archetype of the sage has shown us that wisdom is not a fixed destination, but a living state, one that expands as we cultivate presence, coherent vibration, and a curious gaze toward the unseen. Each insight shared here is a seed, ready to bear fruit when planted in the fertile ground of your daily experience. Metaphysics reminds us that we are far more than bodies confined by space. We are fields of consciousness interacting with subtle dimensions. Quantum physics affirms that reality is dynamic, responsive to the quality of our observation and the vibrational tone we sustain. To integrate these perspectives is to adopt the posture of the sage, uniting contemplation with action, science with spirituality, the analytical mind with the compassionate heart. Take a moment to reflect on all we have explored. The silent listening, the harmony between intention and gesture, the generosity of service, the power to recalibrate environments, and the integration of thought and emotion. Together, these elements form a living map capable of guiding your daily steps. Keep it close when the world feels uncertain. It will remind you that there is always a stable point within, ready to illuminate fresh horizons. If you wish to apply a simple step right now, set aside a few minutes each day to align breath, thought, and feeling. Choose a tone, serenity, courage, or gratitude, and hold it gently while envisioning the most harmonious outcome for your life. Then move forward with coherent action. This practice etches a clear vibrational signature, one that invites synchronicities and opens space for opportunities aligned with your purpose. I want to thank you for staying with me until this point, allowing these reflections to echo within your awareness. If this content brought clarity or light, I invite you to like this video, subscribe to the channel Dazzle of Dawn, and share it with someone who may benefit from its message. By doing so, we participate in a collective movement of expansion, helping transformative ideas reach further and strengthening a quantum field of learning and inspiration. May this closing serve in truth as a beginning. Continue exploring your own vibration, refining your choices, and offering calm and clarity to every space you enter. The Sage Archetype lives within each of us, waiting to be recalled whenever we look upon the world with loving attention. Walk lightly and let your presence become a silent invitation for others to discover the beauty of living in harmony with the whole. And so, see you in the next video, with more information on everything that involves growing, evolving, transforming, and manifesting. See you soon.